Phone wanted some cash from tech big shot Edgar to grow his ice treat biz, as shown in Season 2 Episode 8 of the Afterparty, but Edgar wasn't into it since he thought the shaved ice treat was going nowhere. As for Phone, the fact that he was down to rethink his biz plan showed he's not guilty. In the last episode, we learned the most important fact of all: Isabel and Edgar had a big fight. It was clear that Isabel wasn't cool with Edgar's choice to marry Grace, but was it the only reason they're mad at each other? Isabel's life went downhill after her hubby died, which is what EP9 is about. By far, Isabel has been everything that's creepy, cold, and hush-hush. The character got a lot of flack in her few times on screen. A character's surface-level traits aren't all the Afterparty brings to the table. Isabel Minos is no different. In fact, we get Isabel's side for once. Unlike the other characters, though, her story starts ages before the wedding. The pro actress Elizabeth Perkins, as guest, killed it. After losing her man in the worst way, Isabel Minos' life got flipped around. Alexander Minos was flying a personal jet when he dozed off, leading to sad losses of himself and everyone else on board. Looking for something new, Isabel moved her techie son Edgar and her adopted daughter Hannah into Edgar's big house. Her caring son gives her sleeping pills to help her catch some Z's. But it's not working. Isabel still can't sleep. The widow of Alexander Minos is going downhill in how well she's living. When it comes to who we think did it, Sebastian has been the one thing that's the same. Edgar's old biz buddy and bestie, who got kicked out just before Edgar kicked the bucket, has always been fishy. His side of the story didn't prove he's not at fault. Sebastian gets a phone chat while Isabel spills the beans, so he sneaks out. But Travis is totally watching him. However, Travis's slip-up lets Sebastian nab him. Sebastian, though, spills the beans to Travis after finding out Travis knows a lot. All he's done is grab Edgar's stuff and grab the money before anyone realizes Edgar was a scammer. Seems like he's got away with words. Travis buys it after a phone chat with Sebastian. But I think there's something else. To get back to Isabel's story, her struggles keep going and things get worse. She's having trouble sleeping, and now she's being forgetful, like that she wanted to get a samurai sword and a bunch of big tin soldiers, yep, the same ones Isabel asked Anik if he was into. Her kids, Edgar and Hannah, are worried, and for a solid reason. Isabel tries to hang on to her sanity, but when she sees where it's going, she throws in the towel and goes even crazier. Edgar comes home to see his mom bouncing on the family's new bouncy thing. When the other peeps all tell Anik and Dana their sides to prove they're not guilty, Isabel tells everyone her side, starting with the fact that she knows what's up. This makes this EP special and makes it juicier. Isabel's life's a mess as she starts to think her kid might be the reason for all her problems. Edgar calls Isabel Gale instead of Grace on purpose in Isabel's story. During the wedding, Isabel finds out Edgar gave her uppers instead of sleeping pills, which is why she was up all night. Isabel is crushed to find out her own son is trying on purpose to make her lose it, but she decides to give one back to Edgar. Even weirder, Isabel says that Hannah's opinion is super important to her and that she really cares for her adopted daughter. But Isabel's own son plotted to take her down to get her money, as her story hints at. Edgar changes up Isabel's speech at the wedding party so that everyone, including the family shrink, can see that Isabel needs to be locked up. Isabel looks like she's cool with it, but she shocks everyone by pulling it off. Isabel isn't shocked to hear from Travis that her kid's doing something shady. Right when Kyler asks Edgar to try the baobing, Isabel switches the plates and Edgar gives her some cake and takes some for himself. Edgar Minos' final act is that night. Isabel says her son died because she switched the cake that was meant for her. It's not likely that Edgar spiked the cake to off Isabel, but it makes sense to think he was doing something shady and was probably trying to make his mom go nuts. Also, Anik says that Edgar didn't kick the bucket right after eating the cake, and that the devil's trumpet played a part in him dying, so something's off with the timing. While this doesn't make Isabel totally innocent, it doesn't make it believable that Edgar spiked her slice of cake. The episode wraps up with the cops showing up and Isabel suddenly pointing the finger at Grace again, setting things up for a huge shocker in the last EP. Can't wait to see what happens.